Hello there, good evening everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of MixStream. I can't believe it, we're like at episode 29 already, man, and how is everyone doing, man? If you're watching this right now, and do take note, there is a live chat going on in the stream. Please do, drop a message in there. Let me know that you are there. Say hi, right? We've got lots of people here. We have Eyes and Ears Productions, right? That's Chris Pereira all the way representing from KK. We got Benson Chiang, right? We have also the band, the featured artists of this week, Airwaves on Fire. They are here in the chat as well. So, right, say hi to them, okay? All right. Who's managing the account now? Is that you, Jian, or another band member? Jian, right? I suppose. Okay. Who else is there? Zachariah Henry. Hey, he's a regular here. He's also a patron of the for the YouTube channel. And Zane also. Zane, hey, I have not seen you in a long time, man. Thank you so much for all your support, right? Zane and Zachariah both are patrons for the of the Studio 2105, the YouTube channel, and also the MixStream online community. So a big thanks and shout out to for both of you, because you help to maintain and to sustain this channel and the creation of content like this. Okay, so. All right, so a quick one. All right, MixStream 29, episode 29. The featured artists for this week, all right, they are making their second appearance and the second feature on MixStream, and they are Airwaves on Fire. Okay, as you can probably see on the intro screen that was playing around you. You've been hearing the rough mix, right, of the music only. We'll take another listen to it initially when we first go through. So. Airwaves on Fire are currently in the process of recording their EP with me, which I am also producing. Okay. Fortunately, we did most of the tracks. We're fortunate that we did most of the tracks before the lockdown. So we've only got a couple more. So there's this song. The title of the song is Lines on the Floor. We've got another song and we have another 2 songs. So basically there's 3 songs and then we will have finished the EP, right? So stay tuned, right? Follow Airwaves on Fire. All their social media details are down in the description. Check it out, follow. They already have 2 singles out before this. Ride or Die was the first single from the first album, right? And the long title, what's the long title of the second single? Make Me Feel These Feelings, is it? Okay, I know it's a long title. Let me just take a quick look. What is the title of the second song? The second song is Make Me Feel. Yeah, Make Me Feel. Yeah, Make Me Feel for short. So thank you. Right. So let's head on down really quickly. Before that, if you are new to this channel, hey, if you are not a subscriber yet, please do subscribe. Click on the subscribe button, right? Down below there. That will be super awesome. It will really help out the channel as well. And one thing about the whole MixStream online platform and this program is that this is one way that we want to support our local artists. Okay, so the not only does MixStream serve as a bit of a promo, because you get to see, you take an early sneak peek onto what the songs sounds like, okay, what's coming up from Airwaves on Fire, the featured artist. But you can also, if you want to contribute financially, you can do so via the Patreon platform that I have up here. So check it out up there, right? The website is www.patreon.com/studio2105. So check it out, all right? Information is all there. You can go various different tiers. But the important thing is that if you do sign up to become a patron, right, please do drop a message and let me know that you are supporting Airwaves on Fire, the featured artist for this week, by using the code MixStream29. Okay, that's MixStream29. So 50% of all the revenue is gonna go towards the featured artist lah. Okay, all right. So appreciate it, right? So without further ado, let's head on down. First things first. always, let's take a overall the big picture view, right? I call it framing and discovery, right? So you frame the music and you discover what are all the different parts that are included in there. Well, but let me do a quick, hang on, let me disable and get out of all the, let me disable all the synths first so that they are not taking up CPU. Right, and let's check out, all right? Let's do a quick run through. So first thing, before you even touch anything of your EQ or whatsoever, always try to balance the mix, you know, know what the parts are, know what needs to be highlighted, what needs to be, you know, what the arrangement of the song is like, and, you know, start from there. So let's take a listen of the entire rough mix first. As you can see, we've got loads and loads of tracks up here, man. There we have, how many tracks here? I think if you minus all the group buses, you are looking at least 90 plus tracks, I think. But that's very typical for you know, modern rock production, because you have a lot of layers and, you know, and you have a lot of stacked parts as well. So let's take a listen to the rough mix. This is Lines on the Floor, okay? And let me just check also while we're doing that. I'll check and see what's happening going on in the chat. So here we go, rough mix of the song. Start with this drum loop. Interesting thing about this drum loop, I'll tell you later. And the drums come in, guitars, some keyboard pads, synths underneath.
Won't you run away with me?
First verse.
Where forever we can sleep.
And the drums come back in again.
Never asking why. This is her only lullaby.
Pre-chorus.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now. Lines on the floor, they can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall, all this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Lines on the floor, she's not gonna
That's the chorus.
come anymore. Love's got a gun to her head. Rust is all that she can taste. She's screaming at the sky, never knowing why. This is her only lullaby.
Okay, second pre-chorus.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now. Lines on the floor, they can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall, all this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Lines on the floor, she's not gonna come home anymore.
Okay, going in the bridge. Everything drops out except for a guitar.
Bite your lips, press them onto me. Swear that you'll never walk away. Bite your lips, press them onto me. Swear that you'll never walk away. Bite your lips, press them onto me. Swear that you'll never
Everything
walk
builds up.
away.
This is this vocal stack here with harmonies. Solo.
Just nights that are never
Pre-chorus again.
There are no happy endings, not now. Lines on the floor, pink can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall, and all this pouring rain can't wash her clean. Can't save her. She can't stop. She's not gonna come home. She's not gonna come home. Can't save her.
So this is the ending tag.
Can't stop. She's not gonna come home. She's not gonna come home anymore.
And the outro. All right. Okay, sweet. So that's the same vocal stack from the bridge. We decided to add it in the end as well. So yeah, okay. So that's the rough mix of the song. All right. So that helps to give an overall picture of what the song structure is, what the arrangement is like. Let's say, right. Hey folks, are you guys all seeing the chat? Is there any lag in the stream? If you let me know, because on my side it looks like it says that the chat is disconnected. Or is it just my connection here? Hang on a second, huh? Okay, let me try again. And we see Firdaus. Hey Firdaus, thanks for joining, man. Very, very cool. Right. I will reply your message later. So let's start off. Now, one thing I want to sort of point out a little bit. Okay, so with Airwaves on Fire, this is our since we are recording an entire EP. So one thing that's really, really key, right? If you know you are releasing an EP or an album or a whole collection of songs, you want it to sound very, very consistent as well. So one of the things that has taken place, right, through all the previous singles is that we want to maintain the similar consistency in terms of the drum sound, right? The overall balance, the bass, the guitar tone, and especially even the vocals. So what has happened is that, okay, a lot of the settings that you're going to see, especially when it comes to the drums, the bass, and the lead vocal EQ treatment, it's already all been saved as presets. You know, when doing recording also, we make sure that we use back the same mic, same miking position. We check the tone, the same preamp gain, the same compression settings, all of these things, right? I've been noting it down, notating it, so that when it comes to the mix, you can basically just apply and take presets which I've already saved, right, for the vocal, for the drums and all that, right, and just apply it back on that. This is going to be a really good time saver because it means that you don't have to go and dig and EQ and compress and find the settings again, right? We just reapply. I'm just going to reapply all these settings, right, and all that. So there are different ways of doing it, right? Whether you want to save it as track presets, you want to take a snapshot of the channel mixer, right? Let's see. Hang on a second, huh? Could you guys see the because on my laptop I have lost my internet connection, but from my side on OBS it still looks like it's good. All right. So guys, are you still seeing the live stream? Let's see. Okay. Chat is good for us. All is good. No lagging problem. Hey, Damien is here as well. Damien's the guitarist for the band. So, all right. So, okay, looks like it's good. I think it's only my computer. It's only an issue on my laptop over here, lah. Right? Because of my phone also, I'm monitoring it on my phone as well. So it looks like good as well. Okay, cool. So let's start. First things first. Okay. Very important, when you start a mix, you want to make sure you have your gain structure and your initial levels. Again, it's a topic that I've repeated often again. It's important to set your gain structure for many reasons. One of the reasons is obviously you don't want to clip your master. Secondly, you want to have a good signal to noise ratio. You don't want your level of your mix to be so low that later when you master it, when you go to the process of mastering, it brings up all the noise. But the most important part that a lot of people do not highlight and don't point out is that when I set the initial levels, it means that every time I mix, I am mixing at the same, and I'm listening to the speakers, right, at the same consistent level every time I mix, right? Right, I am listening to at approximately 85 dB SPL. So this means that my frequency response of what I'm hearing is going to be balanced, it's going to be even. So it's something that I will try to do, right? I've set calibrated level settings on my mixing console and everything on my speakers, so that I know every time when I mix or when I work, when I set this fader at this level, and when I set my balance of my kick drum to this certain level, it's going to be consistent day in day out. I'm listening to at that same volume level. Okay, I still can't monitor on my laptop. Something is gone cookie and gone cookie here. Let me see. Okay, now I'm getting back internet connection, but it says, oops, something went wrong. What went wrong lah? Okay, right. So how do I set my initial levels? Okay, very simple, right? Again, if you watch my live streams, you will already know I do it by setting my kick drum level and aiming for minus 12 dB FS, so that my kick drum, right, would peak at minus 12 dB FS. Hang on a second, let me get back into my YouTube studio on my laptop, because I want to be able to monitor what's going on here. So in case the stream gets disconnected or something like that. Okay, let me go into the control room and excellent. All right, okay. YouTube live notification is always wonky. YouTube live few days back is the same. Yeah, okay. Look at 13. Hey, look at 13. Welcome, man. First time I'm seeing you in the channel. Do let me know where you from. Where are you watching this from? Okay. All right. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me just turn off something. Hold on. Let me just turn off this. Here we go. Yeah. Because now I notice I have got my logo, double logo on the live stream. So this should be better right now. Okay, let's go. Let's start. So as I mentioned, okay, I've already taken down all these mix notes. I already set different presets already, so it's going to be a lot faster. So there were different ways of doing it, but how I do it is still the old-fashioned way, man. I got this notepad here. Good old-fashioned pen and paper. Sometimes it's a little bit faster than having to type it out. It's actually faster to just write it down on a notepad. So let's start off. Okay, so I have my kick drum. Let's check it out. All right, so this is there are samples on this. Let me set this. Kick drum is routed to drums, and let me just pull up the preset. It is down here. AOF. There we go. AOF kick sample. Right. There's nothing much here. This is just a slight dip at about 140, just to get rid of some of that the boxy resonance out of the kick drum sample. So let's check out this kick drum. Okay. Here we go. Play.
Is never asking why.
Oh, that's the vocal playing. There we go. So this is a kick drum sample. Let me just show you very quickly. All right, what do I mean by having it peak at around there? Okay, actually before we do that, let me just also set one thing as well. Hang on a second. Let me load up the master channel settings. All right, I'm not going to go too much into this because I've already covered this in another video. I've covered it every time, so I won't explain too much. Okay, there we go. SPLRN. So let's check it out. All right, kick drum.
Lines on the floor.
Hello, gang vocals. Okay, let's make sure we mute all that as well. There we go. Okay, one more thing. Let me also AOF the drum group. Okay, excellent. All right. Okay. So now, this is actually slightly harder than what I usually do. I think because of the preset that I have. So we're actually kind of. Let me show you. I'm actually peaking at about 9.5 dB FS here, minus 9.5. So again, there's not a right or a wrong level, right? When I peak at minus 12, that's a value, that's a figure which I aim for. So as long as you keep yours consistent, you set the consistent target level, you should be perfectly fine lah. Okay, let me take out all of this other stuff so that it's not hogging up all the CPU processing. And let's check it out. Okay, so kick drum. All right. Okay, let's pull up the next kick. This would be the live kick. So here we go, AOF kick. Okay, pulling up a preset over here. So what's going up in here, as usual, the tape, right? Virtual tape machines running as the first insert. Virtual mix rack is the second insert, and this one I have a gate here, right? So it comes with. This gate is the drum gate. It comes with a virtual mix rack. So let's take a listen to this. Okay, all right. So this really cleans it up. So this is without the gate, and with the gate, super clean, man. Of course, sometimes a little bit of the toms will come through, especially if it's low end stuff. But when you see here, this is in the chorus. Super tight, super clean, man. All right, so the debleed feature function here as well is super awesome. It used to be, if you wanted to achieve this kind of a debleeding debleeding technique, right, you used to need to quite a complicated procedure. You know, you need to have like parallel processing, and you know, you need to split the frequencies and all that. The method to do it used to be quite long-winded, but thankfully nowadays, right, it's a lot easier. So here we go. So here is another example. This is also another preset, the little high pass filter at 20. Let's solo this with, before, without. It's basically just, you know, taking out a little bit of the boxiness. Let's bypass the EQ. All right, very subtle, just taking out a little bit of the EQ lah. Okay. Alright, just taking a little bit of the low mids from the kick. And let's check the polarity between the two, okay? So let's reverse the phase. So the interesting thing is that actually when I invert the phase, actually there's a little bit more of the low mid coming through. So when in theory, when I flip the phase, you are supposed to get a fuller sound in theory. But in practice, I think it's a little bit better, right? With the scooped out low mids in this case, because it's gonna make space for a lot of the other stuff as well. You got the bass guitar going, you got synths, you got a lot of other elements taking up the low mid range. So that helps lah. So we're gonna just leave it in there and let's move on. Okay, what else? What's next? See, referring to my notepad again. So let's draw in the snare samples. Right, we got a couple of samples here. So this is a pearl maple snare. Okay, all right, these are all, of course, from my SSD5. Let me just play that. Okay, all right. According to my notes, I invert the polarity. Okay, I have another one. This is the snare VP. VP here is Vinnie Paul. All right. Ooh, awesome, man. That sounds fat and nice. Okay. The Vinnie Paul snare, this is popularized by Dave Bendeth, right? He's a producer engineer, right? And this snare sound is what we call, right? People refer it to popularly call it the Paramore snare sound, right? So when that came out, man, every band, even I think to this day still likes to go for that sound. Okay, so snare drum, let's go snare drum. Let's EQ the snare drum, ALF snare. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. There's nothing in particular, so I will just drop in the... Okay, where is my VTMA drums? There we go. Okay. One thing a little bit different with the drums, the setting that's a little bit different here is that instead of 30 IPS, right, on my virtual tape machine, I go for 15 IPS, right? 15 inches per second, as it slightly rolls off the highs compared to 30 inches per second, okay? So what else is there? So for the snares, they all have a high pass filter at 75 and a low pass at about 11K, right? So let's set this over here. Let me check. Do they have an EQ? And nope, no EQ on this. So easy peasy, excellent. Okay, so the snare is at -4. Same, right? So snare A, you can see here, I got a snare A and a snare B. These two, snare A is a dynamic, snare B is a condenser. Let's check it out. Okay, right. So you got a little bit of a fair amount of bleed in here from the hi-hat, but again, in context, everything, it should be fine. So let's just listen to kick and snare. Alright, okay. Let's go with snare bottom. Right, snare bottom is at about -12.5. Okay, right, let me just EQ this. Let me get rid of... It's about 300 hertz. Right. Right, that's all we need. Hi-hat is at -14. Okay, let's roll off all the bottom end. We don't need all... Okay, now there's a bit of this honkiness at about 570. Okay, just remember, well, I'll just remember, so sometimes we do need it, otherwise sometimes because that's kind of that fundamental of it, but sometimes if we take it out too much, it makes it a little bit thin. Now let's jump to the overheads. First of all, okay, as usual, actually I should have set all of this up lah, but okay, never mind. Okay, 17.5. okay, we can just copy the settings over. Alright, okay, and let's link the two channels. Alright, okay, overheads. What I'm gonna do over the overheads, let me load this setting in here. Alright, again, these are all presets. Okay, but the only thing that we want to point out is that this is the EAOC de-esser, and de-essers are actually super versatile plugins. It's not only used for de-essing, because basically what it is a frequency specific compressor. You dial in, right, a certain range or a certain bandwidth of frequencies, right, to attenuate. You can use this for a lot of stuff. So what this is doing here, right, this is going to be softening the overheads a little bit, especially every time if when the hi-hats are being played loud, or when there's a crash or a cymbal, right, this is going to just tuck the top end just a little bit, just to smoothen out the top end lah. Okay, what else do I have there? Let me take a look at my notes. Right, I do have a high pass about 152.8, right? Nice. Okay, all right, so let's go to the room microphones. Okay, room microphones are very important, right? and I'm very blessed to have a room that is fairly big. With, I mean, it's not huge, but big enough with good enough high ceilings that I can get quite a roomy sound. Let's just check out what the room sounds like. Right. Ooh, sounds loud, slightly phasey. Okay, right. This sounds a bit better. This is out of phase. This is very out of phase. Now, I do recommend that you listen to this on headphones or a good pair of monitor speakers. If you're listening on a mobile device, you are not going to hear what I'm talking about. Okay, right. Okay, very cool. Okay, so what else do I have on the room? So the room mics, let me link them up. Right, according to here, these are about 16.8. So let me just bring. Okay, solo. Okay, but I do have some processing on this, so let me take that out very quickly. AAF, room group, and hang on a second. Room group, what do I have? Oh, it's basically just some EQ, I think. Da, 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 da. All right. Okay. Very cool. So let me take a look at what do I have on the room group. Right. Oh, that's strange. I thought I actually saved this over here. I might have missed out on the settings on this, but never mind. Right. Room is not a huge big deal. Right, usually I will take off a lot of the top end. Okay, hang on. Let me just unlink these guys for a while. Let me just unlink it because the levels are not balanced. Right. Okay. Link. There we go. That's why my right hand side was louder than let's take out a bit of this. Right, don't need all the top end coming from the room because overhead is really, right, providing a lot of that. So the room is so a bit of this, right? All that honkiness at about 500, 550. Let's notch all that. Let's go back to here. There we go. I think we could take out a little bit more at the bottom, I think. Yeah, we could take out more bottom. But let's listen in context with the rest of the drum kit. Right, let's check it out. Yeah. Doesn't need all that bottom end, okay, in the room. Okay, and that's not all. We still have this. This is the SSD. This is the room sample that comes from the Steven Slate drums itself. Okay, so this one, let's check it out. I have this at the -14. Now this one I have high passed it at almost 280. There is also a low pass at about 12K. Technically it's actually 11.6K. But let's see what else is there. This little EQ. All right. The SSD rooms, right? They all have this notch in here, so practically almost every time on the SSD room tracks, you will see I'll have this lah. Now, one cool thing I have with the SSD rooms is I'm running it through some compression, and this is the Pulsar Smasher. This is, you've seen me, I've used this a couple of times before. The links to some of the plugins, right, especially some of the free ones, are actually down in the description. So you can go down. If you see any of the plugins that I use there and you're wondering where you can find it, where you can download it, the links are down in the description below, okay? So this guy, baby, let's take a listen and see what's it doing. This is going to be a Smasher. This is a model of 1176 with the all buttons mode in. All right. Awesome. This is explosive. Okay, so let's listen in context. You see, it's almost, right, because of all that compression, right, and parallel, it brings up all the low-level detail, all the ambience, the sustain of the room sound. and it's almost as if there's reverb on it already. Okay, so that really helps. All right. Without, see, it's a little bit smaller. With the room, right, you get a little bit more of that front, the depth in there. Okay, hang on a second. Right. All right. Lock at 13 says from YouTube. Hey man, Lock at 13. Yeah. Are you from Malaysia? Are you a Malaysian musician? The first time I'm seeing you in the channel, man, on the live stream. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go on to the toms. Let's find a section where the toms are, which is in the pre-chorus. So let's check it out. Now, once again, presets. Yay! Presets to the rescue. Okay. So, all right. I'll quickly run to you what I'm doing in here, right? One of the things that I do like is instead of using an EQ, instead of using the regular stock EQ, so sometimes when it comes to treating the low end, I can use some of these different types of EQs here. So this is called the Bark of Dog from Boss Labs. So what this does is this is actually it very specifically emulates the curve and the resonant characteristics of a low pass filter. Okay, right. So without going into too much detail, right? Filters, depending on how the resonances are, right? Sometimes what happens is that when you boost a certain frequency, there is actually a different kind of a curve. So let's say in this case, I'm boosting 107 hertz. If you look at the curve, right, the EQ curve, the frequency response, maybe about 120, 140, there is a dip. So there is a particular shape in the frequency curve. So that's why I'm specifically using this instead of using, a normal regular EQ, right? Because there is a specific sound and a specific frequency response to it. There's classic, there's passive. When it says passive here, this is actually, it emulates the behavior of a Pultec EQ, right? Which is the famous passive EQ. Combo is a combination of the two, but basically this is what I'm doing with the tom. So let's check out maybe this first tom. Let's just cycle it through. I'll just play it for you. So let's solo it so you can hear the difference. So this is with, this is without. See, a little wimpier, right? So this is, yeah, nice and fat sounding toms. Okay, so a little bit of EQ, right? Taking out about 6 dB out, about 250 hertz. This tom one would, all right, okay, high pass at about 50. So same thing would go with the floor tom. So again, let's check out. This is the pre-chorus section where the floor tom highlights. So same thing. So except with the Bark of Dog in this instance, the frequency I'm going for is 56 because this is a bigger, it's a 16-inch floor tom, right? So at about 60 hertz, okay? Ooh, okay. So nice low end there. So let's take out bypass. Still okay, still pretty there, right? But here just gives a little bit more touch of the bottom end to the tom, okay? So what else do we have? Let's cue this out. So here takes out, we need to scoop out a little bit of 165 and 250. And there's a quick high pass here at 30, at about 31 lah, okay? So about 30 hertz there. So there we go. Let's listen to this section. All right, cool. All right. So the right symbol for this moment in this time, I can't remember, did we use any right in here? But I just muted this channel for the right channel for a while, okay? Right. So moving on, what are we gonna do? Okay, now let's put in a little bit of reverb. So what I love to do is I like to add reverb on the overheads. This is a trick which actually I learned from watching Chris Lord-Elch. All right, that's what he does. He actually adds reverb on the overheads. All right. The reason behind this is that, you know, he wants to keep the direct mics as dry and as in your face as possible. So what reverb am I using for the drums? I am pulling up, okay? This is Reverence from, this is Steinberg. This is built in, right? It's a reverb that comes built in when you install Cubase. Now, this is a convolution reverb. So what a convolution reverb is that it uses impulse responses, IRs. Nowadays, when you hear folks talk, especially if you're guitar players, you hear IRs, right? IRs are not only limited to guitar amps and also you know, guitar cabinets. Impulse responses, right? One of the very, very early uses of impulse responses is to model reverbs and to model acoustic spaces. So this has been around way, very long time already lah. But convolution reverbs usually are very, very CPU hungry. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to import, right, this IR, this reverb IR that I have. Okay, from my IR reverb library, impulse responses, and here we go. Okay, so this is my IR reverb library. You can see Eventide Eclipse, Eventide, the H3000 harmonizer, Lexicon 480, 960, all the different PCM 70, the Sony DRE. I have the Bricasti True, the TC6000, and even the Yamaha SVX 990. So these, what the impulse responses have done is actually, right, they ran the impulse response to the particular preset of the actual hardware unit. It models it, it captures it, right, and that impulse response, when you apply to a convolution reverb, you are basically getting the sound of that hardware model, that hardware reverb unit, and applying it in there. So now I have all of this. This is actually all available for free, but the way that you can get this, you can download this, is if you sign up for the email list, okay? How to sign up for the email list? It's down there, right? Information's down in the description. I will share all of this with you. These are all the presets that are available from all the different. So for example, you know, Lexicon 480, these are all the commonly used presets. You know, Lexicon 960, you have all the different plates, all the different ambience presets that are in there. But what I'm going to pull up here is from the Yamaha SVX 990. This is the snare plate. Yeah, this is the one, okay? So I'm going to be using this one. And the SVX 990 actually is the reverb unit that Andy Wallace uses, right? So it is not an expensive, it's a fairly inexpensive effects unit compared to, let's say like the Lexicon. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's listen to how the reverb sounds like, okay? So this is the reverb. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to EQ this a little bit, because it will get a little ringy at about 3.5, alright? So let's cut that out. And it's got a little bit of boxiness at 460. There we go, that's the drum. Okay, but we are not done yet. There is also some reverb on one of the snare samples. So let me just quickly put this in. This is at -6, and that should be our drum sound. Lovely. All right, cool. Very, very cool. Okay, right. So that's the drum sound, man. Thanks everyone, right? Let's see what else is happening, okay? Like, right. Hey, Loki is a filmmaker and video producer and has helped us with some of Airwaves videos previously. Oh, awesome, man. Right, definitely, right? Thanks for joining in, and thank you for helping and, right, supporting the band in their music videos production. Really love the videos, man. Okay, now let's move on quickly. Now, I mentioned earlier that this is an interesting thing. This here, let's take a listen. So the song starts off with this loop. Cool, right? Industrial loop. Okay, so The interesting story behind this is that, the band actually does some of the pre-production work. They jam, right? And then while they are jamming the song, they will send me the recordings of the demos. And this, let me just solo this sample here. This was actually sample of their phone recording. So this was the demo that they sent me, and this drum sound was so cool coming up from the phone, right? That is like, hey, we gotta incorporate this in the song, man, right? So this was actually sampled from the demo, the phone recording. Now, it has been compressed, right, and compressed to shit. So let's listen to what it sounds originally, okay? So originally, this is how it sounds like without the EQ, without the filters. Let's listen to this. That's how it sounds. Let me pump it up lah. This was from the phone. The phone sounds like this. But after applying all the compression, right, and some of the high passing and low passing, okay, this is what we got. All right, here we go. This is with the smasher. Cool, right? This was so cool, man. When I heard it, I knew we had to put this in. Now, I actually added another layer. This is programmed. This is I added just to give it a bit of weight to it. This is actually programmed. This is actually the same pattern, but with some electronic EDM drum samples. Right? This. Combine the two. So that's really, really cool sound, man. All right. Well, at least I think it's a cool sound lah. So here we go. Where are we? Let's unmute the drums. Why are we in solo mode? Let me unsolo these. Okay, cool. Here we go. So let's bring in this. Nice. Okay. Now, time. Let's move on. So that's the drums. Let's check out, okay, the bass now. I have not put any compression on the drum bus yet, okay, because we'll see how it goes later on, okay. I just want to leave it this way first. Okay, let's start with the bass. So bass, usually I always go with the standard typical, all right, drum setting, which is at 15 IPS, 15 IPS. Okay, let me refer to my notes very quickly. Okay, bass 10.8. Right, that seems a little bit high. Okay, but let's check it out first. Okay, so now the important thing here, what I want to do is I want to check and make sure that the levels are the same. So RMS minus 22. This is 22. Let me check the RMS for the verses. The RMS for the verses are about minus 18. Okay, cool. So looks like I have to bring these down. So this is minus 18. Actually, closer to minus 19. So I have to bring all these down by about the verses by about 3 dB. Okay. The verses about 3 dB and the choruses. Let me just note this down. Okay. Where were we? Okay, media, audio, statistics, 16.5. So that is, what's my maths like? 5.5. Okay, so 5.5 dB. So let's bring all the choruses down by about 5.5 dB. Okay, here we go. 5.5 dB, so we can get an even, because you can see the levels on the two sections are drastically different if I did not do this clip gain. So let me do the same thing as well for the bass tone hammer. So there are two tracks because what I record with, right, the bass DI, this is a using a radial JDI. So the JDI channel, the bass DI track is a clean, it's a fairly just a clean bass lah, okay? Now with the TH, this is the tone hammer. So the tone hammer here, this is a running to the Aguilar tone hammer. So Aguilar tone hammer has got a little bit more color. I dial in sometimes a little bit of dirt. Let's check it out. Did I dial in some dirt or not? But let me just do this first. RH RMS minus 19, but here what I have is 16.9. So I actually need to bring this up actually. I need to bring this up by 3 dB, interestingly enough. So let's do that first of all. Let's drive this up about 3 dB. And let's check in the choruses, right? Minus 14.2, and then minus 16. So this one I have to bring down by 2 dB, okay? So let's do that. Let's bring these guys down about 2 dB. So yeah, so that should even out, right? The two lah. So let's check out the bass DI first, right? Alright, okay. I'll usually take out the high pass at 20. Alright, so this is a clean. Alright, clean bass. Let's check out the tone hammer. Let's see what this one sounds like. Alright, okay. So we were going for clean. So this is fairly clean. Except that the tone hammer, right, has a bit more of a scooped characteristic. I usually boost the bottom and boost a little bit of top and scoop it out a little bit, right? So we're going for a fairly clean bass line in this instance. So same thing. Let's take out a bit of the bottom 20 and let's listen to the bass. Alright, sweet, okay. So let's see, what do I have here? So for the bass, I have routed the bass, right, into all the two bass tracks into the group here. So what do I have on the group? Okay, this is what we have. First thing first, this is Wave C4. This is a multi-band compressor, but the only band that I'm using is the low band. This is just to, so I can control, this is just to control the very, very bottom end lah. Right, so let's see. Nice. Okay. This is without. Right. So this is all very subtle. It's not doing something way too aggressive. You know, this is only a couple of dB and it only affects the bottommost level. Okay, what do I have next? Surfer EQ. Alright. You've seen me using this on a lot of mixes already, almost every time. This is taking out the fifth harmonic, right? Which is, you know, it's actually a major 10th. So right, so basically, you know, we're taking out that fifth harmonic because sometimes it can cause a bit of clashiness lah. Okay, well, so take out about 2 dB, all right, of that. 1176. Okay, fairly aggressive on this. And what I have, bass rider. Okay. So So bass rider is an intelligent EQ which rides the level of the bass frequency. It's different from a compressor because unlike a compressor you have to, you know, the threshold, the signal level has to exceed the threshold before the compressor acts. Bass rider is different. It looks ahead. It's actually a look ahead. It looks ahead of the signal and anticipates the level changes and rides the fader, right? As you call it. You call it a rider lah, but it's basically a fader. So imagine having someone on that fader, volume fader, but able to react in real time to the incoming bass signal. So it's super, super transparent and very, very good, easy way to get very, very even bass levels. And one of my favorites, okay, MV2. Yeah, here we go, right? So this guy. It's bringing out a lot of the bottom end energy and the solidness. Let's bypass. Yeah, just makes it a little bit fatter because it's bringing out a bit of the harmonics on this. Okay, and looks like I do have a instance of R bass on this. So R bass here, usually very subtle. That's it. My bypass. Yeah, just a little bit of R bass there. Okay, and there you go. That's the bass. There we go, man. Okay, let's move on quickly. Let's move to the guitars first. All right, let's move to the distortion guitars first. Yeah, that's where the fun begins, right? So let's check out the distortion guitars. Let's solo the guitar. All right, okay, awesome. All right, so what I will do, let's do what we usually always do. Let's quickly plunk in all the tape and console emulation plugins first of all. Right, okay, so these are double tracked, right? This is the main distortion part. Let's link it together. So all these are going into a group. Now let me check out very quickly, because what I do is that we do also record a DI track, but looks like we're not using it. Okay, interesting. Looks like we're not using it in this situation. So let me just quickly disable it. So a DI track, it's good to have, because I have the option later of running it to a VST amp sim if I want to. Okay, here we go. All right, so all right, again, this was I can't remember what Damien recorded. This is Damien's part. We probably ran this through my Laney, ran this through a Laney VH100, and that's it. It's just guitar. Can't remember did we use any pedals or not. Okay, can't remember. Damien, if you're watching this, maybe you can refresh my memory. But this is straight up, right? No EQ, no compression, no nothing. Right, straight from the guitar into the amp. So not gonna need much, right? So it's only got a little bit. Let me use what I will want to drop in would be TDR Nova. Okay, so I'm gonna use Nova. This is a dynamic parallel dynamic EQ. So we'll take out a little bit of the right, so take out some of the extreme bottom end. And let's take out everything above 8.8K as well. So not much information above 8K anyway for guitars. Okay. There's not much that needs to be done, man. Just a little bit of that low mid honkiness that I may want to just treat. So let's engage one band of TDR Nova. Let's solo it. Around there. That's about 280, you know, between 280 300. So let's take off the gain. Now, look, let's turn off the gain. Hello. Why is it not going 0? There you go. Right, so let's engage the dynamic EQ. Right, you click on threshold, it will engage the dynamic EQ. Let's go for a ratio of 3 attack fastest. Right, release I can let it be a little bit slower, right, at about 180 milliseconds. So let's just take it down. So a little bit of bottom is okay. Bypass. So, right, just take a listen, right? This is the frequency that I want to sort of scoop out a little bit, okay? Because it gets a little boxy here. This one, let me solo it. Cool, about that, cool, that range, right? So let's take, so applying this will help to sort of ease that out a little. And that's it, pretty much it. That's all that it needs, man. Okay, let's listen. What else do we have? So now, actually, this distortion, was this done by Jason? I can't remember, man, whether this was actually done by Jason or not. Hello, hey, Josh. All right, Josh is here as well. Welcome, man. Thanks for joining in. Okay, can't remember who did what, because sometimes between Damien and the two guitarists, right? Right, between Jason and Damien, sometimes they take turns, and they one of them will take rhythm parts and lead parts, and vice versa. So they split the responsibilities. But I've got a suspicion that actually this was done by Jason. Again, my memory fails me, man. So much stuff has gone on the past year or so that I can't really remember. So let's take a quick look, okay? All right, so this is actually an AC30 line. What makes me think that this was actually done by the main distortion was done by Jason is because AC30, this is probably what Damien would usually play to, right? What we usually record. So let's check out what the AC30 is doing. Right, AC30, one of the most versatile amps that you can get, man. So let's check out what the AC30 is doing. Okay, it's actually kind of playing the same chords as well, right? Just a slightly more saturated sound than AC30. You can, it saturates a lot faster than, let's say, a linear like 100 watt amp, because the AC30, right, is a smaller wattage. Let's see what else is doing. Let's see what this is doing. Okay. Oh. Actually, no. Actually, I think the AC30 was done by Jason, right? And the main distortion. Okay, so let me take back what I said, because now I remember this line thing was something that Jason did. Okay, so here we go. Did we use anything in the DI track? Again, no, we did not. So let's just disable it. Okay, right? Disabling will also sort of how do I say? It will it will take. I think it does alleviate some of the CPU. Okay, so let's go. Let's hide the track so it's a little bit more easier to organize. All right. Okay, what else is happening here? Let's check it out. Okay. Okay, so let me move this here. Let me sort of rearrange some of this stuff. Okay. Awesome. Okay, here we go. So AC30. Alright, okay, so awesome. When it comes to these line guitars, let's check it out, right? Let me just drop this in. I would probably want to give this a bit of effects on it, so let's check it out and see. Alright, let's take out a bit of the top end. Let's loop it. About 3.8 there. Just take out a little bit of that edge there, because that might, fight with the vocals a little bit. So this was actually recorded with some delay. There is some effects on it, but let's just add a little bit more, okay? What are we gonna do? Let's just use a stock delay, okay? Right? You don't have to go super fancy with this. A stock mono delay. Let's take out the high pass at 3K, so it's gonna be a fairly dark. All right, low filter at about 200, 3K. So feedback, let's check it out. Okay, let's sync to. Okay, let's go for quarter note. And I want to give it a little bit more ambience to this. So let's put in a little bit of plate, little plate from Sound Toys. Let's take the low cut. Okay, one of the. Let me just check out. Huh? Is it? Right. Okay. Okay. Now there is a little bit of one of the notes. It generates a little bit of a clashiness there. So let me see whether I can reduce that. There, about there, that note. Yeah, there's a little harmonic there that's making it sound like a major chord, while it's supposed to be a minor chord there. But you know, sometimes you know these kind of harmonics, especially with distorted parts, that happens. Let's copy it over, right, left and right. So let's check it out how it sounds right now. Yeah, adding that also helps it to, you know, to give a different texture to that line. So cool. Awesome. All right. Okay. Now, cool. Now, one thing that I want to drop in, and this is something that I've used for quite a number of productions, is I'm going to drop in a bass synth. This is going to be a sub bass synth that is that happens during the choruses and during the pre-chorus. So this is one trick that you can use in your productions, okay, especially if you want to give impact and size to the choruses. So this is gonna, when this comes in, it's gonna give a massive low end and bottom end. Let me just quickly solo this bass so that you can hear it. This is a bass synth that came from ANA2. Right, so really nice growly bass synth, okay? Okay, I'm gonna take out a bit of the 1K from this, right? So once again, you need to be hearing this on like really good speakers with really enough bottom end, or, you know, or a good pair of headphones. But when you listen to that on a full range system, you suddenly hear that lower octave really fill in, man. So let's just drop this baby in here. So let me just check first and see. Okay, there's be one thing that I will do, but let me just balance it in first. let me just mute the guitars so that we can just hear the relationship, the drums and the bass, because that's where the important thing is, right? Right, there we go. Okay, I feel that actually doesn't need too much, but okay, here's what I want to do. I'm going to drop a little bit of chorus in here, and what I'm going to use is Baby Audio's magic switch. Let's check it out, just to give it a bit of space, spread it out a bit. Okay, let's go back to that bass synth. Drop it down a bit. A bit too much, I think. A bit too much. Nah, I don't think I want this. Let's take it out. The original patch has a little bit of chorusing already, so I think adding it makes it too much. I think it starts to draw attention to itself, which I don't want. The whole idea of this bass in is really just to make that bottom end bloom and go big when it gets to the choruses. So let's listen with the guitars. Yeah, that's it. Does the job. All right, that's all that we need. Okay. All right, so that's the drums, main rhythm, guitars, and the bass. So, all right. Usually, as if you are regularly watching this, you know I will always skip. Right. Let's go to the vocals right away. I'm gonna skip all the other stuff, the clean guitars, all the other ear candy, because it's very important to work on the vocals first. Okay. All right. A big tip for anyone, right? Bring in the vocal as soon and as early as possible. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do. So same thing. So with the vocals, we have things are all very consistent the way we recorded it. So let's check it out first of all. All right, so here's the lead vocal. Now let's me pull up the. Here we go. So again, back to initially what I said about, keeping it consistent, right? So there is already a preset vocal chain that I already have for Jian, the lead vocalist, right? His vocal in the song, so that every song, his vocal tone will remain consistent and it's going to remain the same. Quick run through. Let me just quickly run through. Hang on a second. Vocal, this should be at about. Right, minus 5.3, so 5.5. Let's just leave it at 5.5 first. And what else do we have here? We don't need this filter. Okay, let me just check the RMS settings. Okay, this is very important. Mucho importante. Okay, audio statistics RMS 26.6. Okay, that's pretty close, right? Because the RMS that I have is 28.9. Right, let me check for the chorus, 20.35. Okay, so it does seem to be a little bit hotter than the original. So let's try and right. So what was this again? Slightly hotter. Okay, sometimes with different songs, it gets a bit hotter lah. Right, so 30. So we should be aiming for not much. Okay, not much, just about 1 dB or so. I think this one is fine. I think it's the chorus which is the one we have to take a look at. 20.35. Okay, choruses are a lot louder. So 28. Let's take it down by about, let's say, 5 dB, right? Let's take the choruses down by about 5 dB. And we'll see how it reacts, okay? So let's play solo the vocal.
Won't you run away with me?
Awesome.
Where forever we can sleep. The stars are in their eyes, never asking why. This is her only lullaby.
Okay, pre-chorus.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
Okay, cool. Let me just run you to what I'm using. First thing, this is TDR Nova, okay? So TDR Nova, what it's doing here is that it's just taking out, right, a little bit of 970, right? It's taking out a little bit wider here at about 5K. And here, does this take out? No, it's not. So only 2 bands here, okay? So you can see that this is going to react only when those frequencies kind of go above the threshold. So let's check out right, what's happening in here. Next thing, virtual tape machine, virtual mix rack. Okay, the difference when it comes to vocals is that instead of the Neve 1073, the FG73, I use the Hollywood Virtual Tube Collection, because this one is going to give a little bit more fatness, right, compared to the 1073, because these are based on tube preamp modules instead. And I am also running it through, right, the FG Stress. This is going to give me a parallel compression. This is parallel compression on the vocals. This one, I think I've set it to, yeah, for Jian's vocals, I've set it to about 35% parallel, okay? So let's check how it sounds in the chorus.
The pain can't touch her when she breathes in.
Yeah, it's perfect. It sounds nice. Exactly the way I remember.
Pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She hits the...
Alright, okay. So sibilance here, just to give a little bit of, de-essing on the way in. We'll de-ess on the way out as well. And I have this instance of R comp. This is just doing a little bit. It's just catching the peaks, man. 1 dB or so max, okay, of gain reduction here. This goes to the group, and let's pump in okay, what are we settings for the group here? And here we go. All right, so, okay, now, I didn't use a 1176 for Jan's vocals, actually. I used instead a Purple Audio 77, okay? So this is also... It's also a 1176 lah, basically lah. But it's just done by a different company, Purple Audio Inc. instead. Okay, so I think I can't remember exactly. I think it was tonally. Because the 1176, especially the A revision, the blue stripe, okay, adds a little bit of distortion and grit. Now, Jan's vocals is really aggressive, really. So I think I wanted to go for something a little bit cleaner, and for me this one gave, it sounded a lot cleaner compared with the UAD 1176 versions. So I think this is why I went with this. It's basically the same settings. There's nothing different, 4:1 ratio, fastest attack, fastest release. It's the same settings, just that this one to me sounded cleaner, because I was really getting a lot of grit from Jan's vocals. There's no need for me to add, it sounded too gritty when I used the UAD ones. So that's why I use this instead. Anything else that's peculiarly different within this? No, nothing. Yeah. So, right, again, it's just for Jan's vocal. I preferred this. It had a better tone. Okay, what else did we have, right? There is an instance of TDR Nova. Again, a little bit of same thing, but right. Right, TDR Nova is just cutting out a little bit of the 880 and a little bit of 5K, right? And there's a second instance of de-essing in here, because you see, after all the compression and all the processing at the start, it's gonna bring out a lot of those transients, a lot of de-essers as well. So it's useful to have one de-esser before, and sometimes you will need a second de-esser later after lah. All right, so vocal rider, same thing with bass rider. So let me just check out and see what this is doing. All right, let me just check out in the verse.
Won't you run away with me? Where forever we can sleep. The stars are in their eyes, never asking why. This is her only lullaby.
Interesting.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending.
Oh, it was doing something weird. That's why it was not responding just now, because it was in read mode. I don't know why it went into read mode. Okay, it should be in off mode, by the way. Yeah.
Won't you run away with me?
Okay, all right.
Where forever we can sleep.
Okay, let me just tweak a little bit. I think this one definitely in terms of the gain reduction, we need to bring this down by about a dB.
The stars are in their eyes, never asking why.
Yeah, that's better.
This is her only lullaby.
Right, okay.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
All right, cool. Right, so let's take a look at the effects right now, okay? All right, so what do we have here? All right, super tap. Super tap here is giving a bit of a room emulation. All right, so let's listen to it.
Won't you run away with me?
Okay, so here we go.
Where forever we can sleep.
Okay, so I'm exaggerating it so that you can hear how it sounds like, but you know, I actually have it a little bit more subtle down here, all right?
The stars are in their eyes, never asking why.
I may bring it up a little bit more.
This is her only lullaby.
Yeah, actually might need about that, okay? So there's a mono delay that's happening, and let's check it out.
There are no happy endings. Won't you run away with me?
Very standard. This is a mono delay, 8 notes, right?
Where forever we can sleep.
Just to give it a bit of front back space to it.
The stars are in their eyes, never asking why. This is her.
Okay, now when it gets to the chorus, here is where I'm automating the stereo delay. So a stereo delay will kick in when it gets in the chorus, okay? Okay, we'll check it out.
Here, not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean.
Let's listen to it.
Not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall.
So, you know, this is way off, right? Creating dynamics inside a song, inside a mix. So verses, right? All the delays, generally most of the delays are on mono. And then when you kick into the chorus, you know, you just put in and you add in a stereo delay. The stereo delay, if I am not mistaken, is going to be quarter notes. Yeah, quarter notes, okay? Right. So the mono delay is 16th, 8 notes, right? So it's the faster tempo. Then when it gets into the stereo, into the chorus, stereo delay, quarter notes, okay? And so it's going to be a lot more spacey, a lot more bouncy. It's going to give the impression that the vocal, right, has suddenly just gotten a little bit bigger, right, a little bit more impactful. So there we go. That's the stereo delay. And yep, so I've automated this. You see, some of these things I've already done beforehand. Even during the tracking session, we already did this already. So let's just listen quickly. Let's pump in the, okay, here we go. All right, let's get out of solo. Okay, now during the pre-chorus, there's actually a pitch shifted distorted vocal that we brought in. This is using Little Altar Boy. Okay, let's solo it so you can hear. Right, so I'm just going to blend this in for right now, because the band has got some notes later on. In terms of automation, we may want to bring this distorted vocal a little bit louder. But just let's have a listen.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no
It's like some weird, ghostly, robotic sound going on beneath it, okay? So,
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending.
I might drive it a little bit harder.
There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
Alright, cool. Very, very cool. Okay, so when you get to this chorus, it's actually meant to be more of the gang vocals. But before we do that, okay, let's take things one by one first. Let's go with these doubles, okay? Chorus, right? I use these doubles, right? Again, it's a very common production technique, all right? Double track, actually in this case, it's triple tracking. Triple track the main lead vocal. So you have the main up in the center, your double left and a double right. So let's just blend this in. Let's check it out. Excellent. Okay, I'm just
The pain can't touch her when she breathes in.
Okay, all right.
And the pain can't touch her when she breathes in.
Hang on a second. Tuning sounds a little bit out here. Okay, look, I'll deal with this later lah. There's a little bit of pitching imperfections here there. Okay.
And the pain can't touch her when she breathes in. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. The pain can't.
Okay, so there's quite a bit of 5K there, right? And this is again characteristic. Jian's voice has that resonance at about 5K. You see that, right, on all the instances of TDR Nova, right? The center frequency, all right, for the high mids is all at about 5K, all right? So, if you know your own, if you know your particular characteristic of a voice or frequency, you know that, once you know the vocalist, a particular vocalist, you know what to apply for all the different songs. So just blend these doubles in.
The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. She's not gonna come home anymore.
All right, okay, so there we go. Okay, let's see what else is happening in here. Okay, we got some other stuff. There's some other percussion. There's a little tambourine, affected tambourine loop going on. There's some other stuff going on first, right? But let's move on. Let's bump in. Let's drop in these gang vocals. Okay, let's check it out, because this is the chorus first. Let's deal with the chorus.
Lines on the floor.
So this was obviously all recorded before the MCO. We got the whole band to come in. Okay, now not much needs to be done. Let's just take out some of the bottom.
Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor.
So these are all sent to a group gang vocal bus here, which you can see, right? It's got a LE2A right here compressing.
Lines on the floor.
Okay, all right, but I just want to take a little bit more, fine-tune a little bit more with some of the EQ, okay? So it's got a bit of high mid honk resonance, it's especially with the reverb.
Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor.
Yeah, that 1K there, it is kind of exciting the 1K of the reverb. So let's take that out.
Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor.
And there's a little bit of, okay, admittedly, I think this is a bit of bleed coming in from here inside to the live room. So let's listen to the
Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor.
about 115 there. Let's.
Lines on the floor.
It's not a. It's honestly, it's not gonna be a huge big deal. So let's just leave it there. That's perfectly fine, especially in context with the mix. So let's see how many.
Lines on the floor.
So there's 4 tracks of these. Okay. Right. So these are all gang vocals. Okay. 4 tracks of gang vocals. And there's actually another one. These are also gang vocals also, but these are like low octave ones. Let's check it out.
Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor.
But it's also exciting that same frequency, you see? Alright, so here we go.
Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor.
There's another lower one actually.
The floor. Lines on the floor.
560 hertz, so let's take that out because it's exciting, the reverb. There we go. Awesome. So let's copy it over. So yeah, 6 tracks of gang vocals. I think on each one, I think we got at least 4 of the band members, I think. So, you know, when you, on each track, 4, 6 times 4, this is like as if it's a gang of 24 people. And if you want to achieve really authentic sounding gang vocals, there's no way but to actually get a group of people, because the way the capture of a group of people, how all the sound waves interact, it's different from recording people one by one, individually, one by one. You can record 20 people, right, in a group individually and try and blend them together as an alternative, but it pales in comparison to the really authentic real sound. The way, you know, all the different voices, how they interact, the chorus, they with each other. This is the only way to get a authentic, you know, gang vocal sound. Let's check it out again. Then we bring the level of this up. Maybe a little bit less of this. Yeah, that's a little bit better actually. So, okay, this has got the EMT reverb on it, okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Lines on the floor.
Okay, cool. Now, what I will probably do is just drop in. Okay, now this is a new plugin that I actually got recently. Okay, this is actually called Baby Audio Smooth Operator. Okay, all right. So this is actually kind of like a dynamic EQ. It's kind of popular. This style of plugins has come in very, very popular nowadays. What this does is, you know, the main thing, you know, is just to smooth out certain regions. So I'm just going to apply this on this gang vocal just to take out some of that bitiness out of the top end. Okay.
Lines on the floor.
Okay, right. So you can sort of hear where that is. Solo. Let me just pull the GUI a little bit louder, pull out a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, solo on. Okay, I can narrow the Q. Right.
Lines on the floor.
Yeah, so it's about 5.8K, you know, so let's bring this down. right, around that range. Take it out of solo.
Lines on the floor. 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 Lines on the floor.
So you can see it ducks. You can see here it ducks down that frequency range. Let's bypass it.
Lines on the floor. Lines on the floor. Lines on
Let's go for a slightly wider cue.
the floor. Lines on the floor.
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, that's better.
Lines on the floor.
Yeah, so that, you know, takes a little bit of that bitiness out of it lah.
Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Lines on the floor. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop.
All right, okay. So here it's meant to be mainly the gang vocal, right? So I have muted this, but maybe just pop in a little bit of it and see how it sounds.
Endings, not here, not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Lines on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Lines on the floor.
Okay, cool. Now I'm going to backtrack a little bit to the drums because now I feel like the overall drums need just a little bit of compression, especially the snare is a little bit pokey right now. So here we go. Let's check out, okay?
There are no happy endings.
Let's take out the vocal first. Nice. See, the snare really pokes out way too much. Okay, so this is what I love to use on drums, the API 2500. Okay, this is kind of the setting which I like already. In terms of what ratio and what release, 3:1 ratio. The release is if I'm not mistaken, yeah, fairly fast. Yep, this is a fast release. But what I will play around is the attack time. Okay, so now I just want to sort of, you know, control that. You know, it's a little bit too spiky now at this point in time. So but 0.03, if you listen. Nice. Bypass. Well, see, the snare is way too upfront. So now what I'm gonna do is, but 0.03 seems to bring it too back. I mean, it seems to clamp down too much. So let's go to 0.1. Bypass. That's a nice balance actually, right? So sometimes if I want the transient to cut through, I will, you know, sometimes if I want that to come through, I'll go to about 1 millisecond, but 0.03 seems to be like a good balance, right, between the two. And again, very important, we got to listen in context with the whole whole music, man. So here we go with the vocals and the guitar.
They can't touch her when she breathes in. Lines on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Lines on the floor. She's not gonna come home anymore.
Okay, dip the vocal rider down by another half dB actually. All right, so very cool, super. That's pretty much the chorus. Okay, so let's just play again from the top, just listening. Let's just bring in some of the other instruments. Okay, what we have here, this is a vibrato guitar. Let's listen. Yeah. it's a spooky kind of a vibrato guitar going on. Right. So this is a bit dark sounding because it's not going through my master bus. So let's take a listen. Let's balance it in.
Won't you run away with me? Where forever we can sleep. The stars are in your eyes, never asking why. This is her only lullaby. There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
Alright, okay, so now you probably didn't see what I was doing, but I just brought down the whole lead vocal and automated the group here because the verses need to be down by about a dB before it kicks in. Right, so let me just do that real quickly. Okay, now you see me that sometimes I'll be jumping from one thing to another, and this is more of an instinctive thing. Mixing is not a linear process. So sometimes if something needs to be addressed, just go and jump towards it. I will immediately jump towards it. I feel that it needs to be addressed right away. So okay, so that's pretty much it. So verses down 1 dB, choruses up choruses back at unity lah. Right. So here we go. Now all of these guitar sounds, again, that's why I really emphasize the importance of getting it right at the source. We dialed in all the tones, we dialed in the distortion, all the EQs, so much so that when it comes to the mix stage, I don't have to do much, right? So that's really the importance of trying to dial in the right sounds and right tones, and that's really the secret behind getting good mixes, man. Right? A lot of it has to depend on the source. So let's move on. Okay, so that is the vibrato. Might need a little bit of brightening, but I think it's fine. Let's just keep it dark that way, okay? Let's just keep it dark. So let's look at the clean guitar, right? That's happening here. Okay, great. This is a very straightforward clean guitar lah. Okay, let's see. Does it do anything? Let's play now. Take out some of the bottom end. Okay, just some plucking and nice. Okay, all right. I would drop in Waves MV2. MV2 is great, right, for plucked guitars, clean guitars, in helping to bring out all the detail of the plucking. All right, so it's got some dirt on this as well. It's not really a clean guitar. Yeah, and that helps to bring out some of the plucking.
The stars are in your eyes, never asking why. This is her only love.
Okay, now the interesting thing is I think I've got something here on the clean DI. So let's check out what did we do. So on the DI track, we dropped in, this is overloud THU. Fantastic again, it makes the Slate all access bundle so worth doing. Okay, hey, hello, come on, come up. Okay, sometimes it takes an instance lah. Whew. All right, we've got a lot of folks in here, man. All right, in the chat, Benson says R-Bass still rocking it. Josh says, woohoo, JD. Right, Airwaves on fire says interchangeable guitarist. And all right, let's solo. What did we do on this baby here? Play? Ah, okay. So it's also still a clean guitar, but I just ran it through this setting with a compressor, right? Mark II, Mark II-C, clean with some chorus, and drenched it in the reverb lah. Basically a very spacey, ambient, clean guitar. So we blended this in. Yeah, there we go.
Skin white. This is her only lullaby.
There we go. Right, let's check out what this is happening here. So on the pre-choruses, we went for this really like kind of a James Bondsy kind of a tone.
Never ending. There are no happy endings. Not here. There are no happy endings. Just nights that are never end.
Okay, I think we need to. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is.
This is her.
Sweet. Okay, I know what we're gonna do now. Gonna put a little bit of reverb on all of these because that's what we wanted to go for. See, let's go with a platey plate. Actually, let me just switch back to. This one is a bit too subtle. Let's go for the simple basic little plate again from Sound Toys. So let's check it out. Ooh. Alright, cool. So let's check out what is happening in here. So we've got this pre-clean. Alright. We have this is an octave above, and this should be going also to the clean, right? Why is it not going there? Let me just listen to this. Okay, this one I think is with the with some delay on it. So let's check it out. Yeah, so this is slightly different. So this second pre-guitar here is a bit different. So let me just route this over to same all music. Let's check it out. And what about this? Yeah, so it's got a bit of delay. And what is in here? Cool. Check it out. All right, let's listen to what this is doing. Did I have an auto wah thing going on? Sometimes I don't remember what did we use this for, man. Okay, so I don't think we needed the DI in here.
There are no happy endings. Just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings. Not here. Not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean.
Awesome. Okay, cool. What else do we have? So those are the verse guitars already added. Okay, let's drop in this little percussion loop that we've got in here. This is actually in 2 stereo tracks. Okay, all right. Actually, it's a dual mono track because when I exported this, I forgot to bounce it down. Actually, come, let's just do it right away lah. Don't be lazy. Let's just do this right away. Okay, so these should go. Let's solo these 2 babies and let's just bounce this down into mono, into a one single stereo track. Okay, la da 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 da. Master solo this. Yep. Okay. Tambourine tops. And let's import into track. Okay. All right, man. Hey, what else is going on? Okay, and who else is in the chat? YK, hey. I've not seen you in a long time. How are you doing right now? YK, you are one of my former interns from ICOM. How are you doing right now, man? Yeah. Da-da-da. Okay, and let's see. I mean, I know that you've graduated. So what else has been going on with you after you graduated? I mean, it's tough now, lah. It's a tough time um I really kasihan, especially those who are graduating audio now, because there's no jobs for you. But hope you're doing well, man. Okay. Josh said, "Yay, the G is out." Yeah, the G is out. Wow, I love the snare. Okay. You're talking about, yeah, the G is out. Oh, one of the vocals in the double, right? Okay, I'll deal with that later. Fade says you should try the new Pulsar 1178. Okay. Oh, yeah. The 1178, not really attracted to it because 1178 is pretty much a clean-ish version of the 1176. That's the idea behind why the 1178 was ruled out. Now I got way too many plugins already. Okay. All right, so in terms of that, I didn't feel like I really needed to get that, but who knows? Maybe I'll check it out lah. Josh says, "I love Little Alder Boy. Also, nice texture when used well." Oh yeah, definitely, man. Sound Toys makes Sound Toys makes a lot of awesome plugins, and I've been, sometimes the sales promotion comes on for Sound Toys, and I'm like thinking, oh, should I get the whole Sound Toys bundle or should I get there's the rack version as well. So the rack version is cheaper, but you are kind of stuck inside the rack ecosystem lah. Whereas if you buy the Sound Toys 5 bundle, you can use them all as separate and individual plugins, you see. So we'll check that out. Okay, cool. All right, so now Jian knows his own voice better. Yeah. So every vocalist is unique lah. They have their own specific particular frequencies where they resonate. So typically, right, like in this case, you've seen Jian around 5K, right? His voice has got a resonant peak around there. So it helps, right? It helps to know that, in this case, don't go for a microphone that has too much of a presence peak. You want to go for something a little bit more neutral, and something with maybe a little bit more bottom end. In this case, we talk about maybe vocal dynamic mics. Something like a Sennheiser will probably complement your voice better, okay? But, it's all trial and error lah. So 4 seconds to the bounce now. YK says, "Yep, still waiting for the pandemic. Just cool to hear this track again. And remember, I was in the studio watching the whole recording of the making of this song." Oh, cool. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that must have been, was that last year? Middle of last year? Middle of 2020, right? When you guys finished and you were doing your internship. Okay, cool. So that is done. The massive tops has been bounced down into one single track, hopefully without screwing anything up. There we go. Okay, so that's correct. So this is just going to add a little bit of rhythmic energy at the top end, right? Production, this is more of a production creative decision. Let's just delete that. So this is coming in at the choruses, okay? So this is just going to add in. All right, so it cycles between sections at a double time and then half time, right? Following the drum pattern. So this is just going to add a little bit of that top end excitement to it. So
Not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch your
very subtle, just that.
bodies on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Lines on the floor. She's not gonna come home anymore.
it's gonna be very subtle. It adds, that it adds a little bit of the 16 note, right? A little bit of extra energy at the top end. So there we go. That is the okay. Let's see. Okay, let me just do a quick tidying up of this, right? So all these DI ones also is not needed. So we can mute these and we can disable and hide the tracks. Right? Just do a little bit of housekeeping, cleaning up. And where are we? Wow, okay. That's pretty much okay. So we didn't use the VST guitars. We can hide this as well. All right. And where are we now? Okay, let's move on. Let's go on to the BVs here that are in the verses. This happens only in the second verse lah. Again, rock song. You don't need to be, super. You don't need too much fancy stuff going on. So this BV, I have already run it through some plugins. Again, in digital nowadays, it's very common to be mixing as you go along. So I already decided, and we already determined that we want these backing vocals in the verses to be very, very airy, very very spacey and ambient. So automatically, I've already had this even during a recording. So commit to the sound, man. So let's listen to this. Let's listen to how this BV sound like. So there's already reverb on it.
Love's got a gun to her head.
Excellent.
Rust is all that she can taste.
Let me set this out.
Never knowing why. This is her only lullaby.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Let's just blend this into the verse. Let's check it out. All right. Let's unsolo. Okay, right. So this one is actually more of it's an octave. It's a falsetto.
Love's got a gun to her head. Rust is all that she can taste. She's screaming at the sky, never knowing why. This is her own lullaby.
Okay, maybe need a little bit more.
Love's got a gun to her head.
Here we go.
Rust is all that she
Jump to this part.
This is her own lullaby. Love's got a gun to her head. Rust is all that she can taste. She's screaming at the sky, never knowing why.
Okay, all right. So let me drop in a vocal rider, okay? Because this will help to even out because I don't need to compress it any further. It's just, just want to even out the vocals, okay? So let's drop this in.
This is her own lullaby. Love's got a gun to her head. Rust is all that she can taste.
Nice.
She's screaming at the sky, never knowing why.
Cheating, man.
This is her own lullaby.
Well, vocal rider is essentially cheating, man. Yeah. It makes the job so much easier.
This is her own lullaby. Love's got a gun to her head.
Okay, maybe a little bit of automation so to make that last line, bump it up just by 1 dB, okay? And let's check out the...
She's not gonna come home anymore.
Okay, going to the bridge.
But
Dip it down by 1 dB.
Swear that you'll never walk away. I swear I'll never walk away. I swear, I swear. There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall. And all this pouring rain can't wash her clean and save her.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go. That is the bridge. Now here, let's explore. Okay, let's explore the gang vocal that we see here. So this is the harmony choir part that we played around with. So let's check it out. Okay, it's a bit of harmonic resonance, but I don't mind because it's actually in harmony. So this is the second part. Actually, we took this and what did I do with this? Yeah, just pitch shifted this down an octave. So this is the second harmony. So this is an ascending line. Okay, this one, it's got a bit of that peakiness at 3K, so let's just drop that out. Let's just drop that out a little bit. So right, so this was a cool idea from the guys, man. The band thought of this idea, this choir, stacked choir part. So different voices, I think. This sounds like this is Matt. Take it about 1K, a little bit of. So let's take it out. I think everyone had a go at this, I think. So who was this voice, huh? This is definitely Jian going on this part. This is also. Not sure who did this. Sounds like could be Damien. This is Matt. Yeah, I can hear. I can tell that this is Matt the bassist. Right. Yeah, I think most of it was done by Jian. So this is another higher part. Let's see. This is again pitch shifted, I think. Yeah, it sounds like it's pitch shifted. We just took one of the parts and pitched it up an octave, man. You know, having fun. We were just all having fun. This one is also the same thing. So let's just. Okay, and this last bit. What is this last part? Let's listen to that. Right, okay. Hang on now. Let me just reset my. I accidentally pressed my mouse button resolution. So this one hard to tell. It could be Matt. Okay, just roll out all of this, the bottom end that we don't need, okay? So, let's listen to this little gang vocal thing so you can study this from a vocal production point of view. So, we start with. So, you got an ascending and a descending. And an octave and one octave high. And then a higher part. And one more. Right, that's the highest note up there. One of the lines goes up. Right? So yeah, very, very cool, man. These guys made a very cool idea here. Listen in context.
Bite your lips, press them onto me. Swear that you'll never walk away. Bite your lips, press them onto me. Swear that you'll never
Another part.
walk away.
High part.
Bite your lips, press them onto me. Swear that you'll never walk away. I swear I'll never walk away. I swear, I swear.
Right, okay, here it goes into the solo. So let's jump into the solo right now. Okay, solo. Okay, here we go. Solo is, again, I think it's pretty straightforward. Let's check out what the solo was. It's like an ambient thing, I think. Alright, okay, let's add here what we're gonna do. MV2, one more time. MV2 is, again, really helps with actually electric guitar solos. I use MV2 a lot because it brings out the sustain, brings out the note detail. Let's go again. There we go. All right, listening. Okay, what I would love to do with solos is I usually plunk in a little bit of this. This is Acorn Digital's Multiply. I put this little preset here, Vintage Lead, and just blend in a little bit. You can see it's a bit of a chorusing effect, but usually just about 10 dB lah, alright, minus 10 dB below that. Okay, very cool. And I think this needs a little bit of tape delay. So let's bring in the UAD. Let's see where to get EP34. This is the Echoplex. So let's check out. Let's go with sync on. Let's go for 8 dotted notes, and let's see how this sounds like. Just to give it a bit of space. Let's go for, I think, slower, maybe a quarter note triplet instead. Okay, right. Yeah. The EP34 actually, because it is as if you're running to the Echoplex, it does push the guitar tone a little bit further back, so I need to automate it a little bit. that when it gets to the end, the pentatonic lick, correct? The ascending pentatonic. So I need to automate that up by about 2 dB lah, right? Now, I've explained before, okay, in all previous episodes that there's actually going to be a lot more detail that goes on, you know, in the fine tuning. What I'm doing at this initial stage are pretty much all the broad strokes lah. The broad strokes of the music, you know, overall the level, the main rhythm instruments, the foundation of the song. Later on, there still needs to have a lot of detail, like automating some of the parts. You know, there are a lot of special guitar effect parts like pick scrapes and all that come in. You know, all that needs to be automated up in level. Some of them are really, really soft right now. And when it comes to the vocals as well, down, especially in the choruses, I need to make sure all of the vocals, right, every syllable is going to be clear, okay? It's going to be upfront and present, and later on messing around with a lot of stuff as well. So what I show you here is pretty much only the broad strokes. Like if I were to go and show every single detail of the automation, we're gonna be here until 3-4 a.m. okay? So usually I would do that, okay, after I take a near break. So that is almost there, okay? We have this high vocal, okay, that goes in this last pre-chorus. Again, vocal production. We want to give a sense of building dynamics, right? Building anticipation. So this pre-chorus going before the last chorus needs to have that extra sense of tension, needs to have that extra sense of you building up to that final climax, especially, you see, after the solo and after this bridge section. So that's why we added this high vocal here. So let's check it out, all right? See what this does. This is a filtered thing. So it's it's just a spoken word thing, man. So this is just a layer that's underneath. So let's just layer it underneath, right?
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
Okay, let's take away the not here, not now. So I guess we don't need this. This was, I think, a decision that we were thinking lah, whether we need this or not. So I guess probably sounds like we don't need it. So let me filter that out.
Not here, not now.
Yeah, that's a little bit more, gives a little bit more foreboding, sense of foreboding there lah, okay? Okay, so this one actually still needs to be 1 dB. No. Where is the vocal? Yeah, this part still needs to be 1 dB down. In fact, probably needs to be automated.
Nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings. Not here, not now.
Yeah, so just gonna dip it down a little bit, because if I leave it, right, if I leave it up here, just dip it down 1 dB for now. Because if I leave it up there, it's gonna sound obnoxiously loud, and it weakens the chorus. So, all right. Again, these automation moves are all the broad strokes on it. It's not the super fine detail that needs to be done later on, okay? Cool. And hey, that's pretty much most on the instrument. So now let's dial in some of the synth stuff. So all of these, right, were all of the pads, all the electronic stuff was actually added post recording, after the recording was done. So again, I'll sit down with the band and we'll decide, right? Some of these things need to be taken out. Some of these things need, whether we want to take some of these things out or not. But you know, this is stuff that I played around with. So there is a pad. Let's bring this pad in. This pad goes right pretty much throughout the song in the verses, I think. Here we go. Check it out. There we go. Right, just to give a bit of that sense of that air and that warm feeling around the music.
Won't you run away with me? We're forever.
subtle, okay?
The stars are in your eyes, never asking why. This is her only lullaby.
Alright, okay, so just there, just a little bit of, the warmth texture. That's all we need. We don't want to turn this into a electronica song, right? Because the band is essentially, more towards a pop punk. Okay, so now this little thing here, this is called a digital slapper. This is actually more like an arpeggiated synth, all right, which I played around. Again, I wanted to give a bit of a rhythmic, and I wanted to emphasize, because the guitars in the pre-chorus was doing the James Bond thing, sort of a thing. So I wanted to really enhance that. This is actually a guitar sample, all right? It's based on a guitar sample, but run through, some processing, some delay, some effects. So let's listen to. See, it's actually it's like a step filter, arpeggiated. Not sure whether it's an arpeggiator or a step filter. It could be a combination of both, right? But you can hear it's actually an electric guitar sample, right? Running through that, giving that 16th note. Actually, this is 32nd note feeling, right? Just to put it underneath, just to give that extra sense of motion, right? It helps to enhance what the guitars are doing.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
Right, okay, right. So I have to automate some of the... Right, okay, let's chop this out. Okay, this is supposed to stop here.
Not here, not now.
Yeah, okay, let's take it out. Let's take this out.
Not here, not now. Not come home anymore.
Okay, right, so we have the same deal. This also comes back here again, second pre-chorus.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
Okay, same thing, right? Let me just chop this part out. Okay, it also runs through the chorus, right? Chorus does this.
And she breathes in, writing's on the wall.
I may have to automate this a little bit. Okay, let's play around with it.
There are no happy endings, just that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here,
Let's
not
automate this.
now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her. Writings on
Right. Right, so it's doing this line. Da, 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 da. It's a counter line. This is also being played by this synth, if I'm not mistaken. This synth is also doing the same thing. Okay, this one has got a bit of voicing. Okay, alright. Let's blend this all in. Again, this is all playing a little counter melody to the back.
There are no happy endings, not here, not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Lines on the floor. She's not
Okay, this synth comes in the second verse. Again, second verse, different color lah, right? Arrangement decisions. We want you want the second verse to be a little bit more interesting compared to the first verse. Not so much of a cut and paste. So he's just kind of just playing with single notes.
She can taste. She's screaming at the sky, never knowing why. This is her own lullaby.
Okay, we'll probably play around automating it.
There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings.
Cool. All right. So this one is done, and we are almost there, man. So here's one more thing. So this is a piano that's come from, all right, Spitfire Audio Labs. One of the very first free libraries they gave out, soft piano, which is fantastic, man. Now, I just inserted this just to give a little bit of color, extra color to that guitar line, that pluck line in the chorus. So again, very subtle. It's just there to enhance, not to shine over the guitars. Okay, right. So this little slapper thing, it should end here. Let me just chop that out first. Okay. So the bass. Right. Okay, this should, because right, I had this at the sustained note, but this should actually all kind of fade out lah. Right, in writing the MIDI, again, it's more of a tip. It's better to sustain the last note, right? If you have, and then when you render it down to audio, then it's easier. If you have that long sustain, it's easier to chop it off or fade it out rather than put the note too short. So this is more of just a, workflow decision. Okay. All right. Okay. So we were playing around. So we decided to let's bring this. We brought the vocal choir thing back at the end. But the cool thing about this is that we actually did a little bit of. Let's see what did we do? Okay. Right. I'm trying to remember because this was all again done during the recording sessions. We decided on what we wanted to have there. So let's check it out. Let's see what do we have in terms of what are the parameters that we have. So I think we played around with the high cut frequency. Let's check it out and see what's happening. Oh, I just played around with the low pass filter. Interesting. That's all I did, right? We just played around with the low pass filter because we wanted it to sound like it was going a little bit further. But I might do a little bit extra by also automating the reverb amount. Okay, let's try it and see, right? Because I remember now the idea was to make it sound distant and to push it further in the back. So let's try that by, let's arm, let's put it in right mode. So it should start. Okay, so now let's bring up the wet mix. All right, cool. So let's mess around with this. Okay, so it should start kicking in here, right here, bar 177. So let me just pull that out over. Oops, let's make sure that we got the right level. Yeah, 34.5. So let's set this 34.5. Okay, and it should reach. Let's try and see which is maximum. Okay, 100%. 100% wet once it gets here. See what happens. Interesting. Okay. The bottom end seems to build up a bit too much though. Okay, let's not go 100%. Let's go maybe 90. Okay, all right, cool, all right. Yeah, just giving a little bit more reverb. All right. Okay. So that is pretty much it, man. Okay, we're pretty quick this time around. I think we ran this about 2 hours, 2 hours plus, 2.5 hours into thing. We're not even here at 12. You know, here's one thing. Obviously, right, as I mentioned earlier, because this is already the this is like 4 out of 6 songs that I've been recording and producing for Airwaves. So we wanted to maintain a consistent sound, a consistent tone for all, when it comes to the drum tracks, the bass, the vocal treatment. So a lot of that already had the presets already. So I was able to draw from that, right? I already drew on from all the different mix notes on what the different EQ settings were, the fader settings, all the different types of elements that's included. All right, in my little mix notepad here. So that actually saves quite a lot of time, right? So obviously, otherwise, we definitely have gone past 12 o'clock. So let's see, man, what else is going in here. All right, let's see. Right. Before we end, a couple of things I want to show, but let me just quickly look at the chat. Oh, that's you, YK, right? Yes, and we had dinner. Yeah, correct. We went down to a restaurant. Okay, the times where we could still dine in, huh? Oh, man. See, Josh says, I got the bundle on a student discount, 50% off. Oh, cool, student discount, huh? Okay, all right. It's not cheating if you always win. It's not cheating. Right. What's your favorite part of the song and why is it the solo? Okay. What's my favorite part of the song? You're asking me. Favorite part of the song? There's so many cool stuff about it, man. From the fact that the loop, the actual drum loop, the sample that goes on at the start and at the end was actually taken from the phone recording of the demo, right? This one. Not sure whether you were here earlier. This sample here. This was taken from the phone. Yeah, you know, and basically pretty much a lot of things are, right? I had a lot of fun, especially doing the vocal production. With what we did with the choruses, the gang vocals, the choir part. I thought the parts are really cool, right? Because guitar wise, it's very straightforward, right? Nothing super fancy or complicated. Here, I think really where it shines is the vocals lah. The band, right, really did a good job, right? Because I think it's cool. It's really cool that rock bands try to. I actually can see the growth of the progression, you know. So when you start off, sometimes vocal wise, very simple in terms of the vocal production, but here you can see that, you know, the band Airwaves on Fire are taking a little bit of risk. You see, experimenting when it comes to vocal production. You're using effects, pitch shifting some of the vocals, applying like a spoken word, and playing around with harmonies and all that. So while at the same time still maintaining, you know, the rock element lah. Now, now before we wrap up, just a few things. I just want to take a quick look at what we have on the master. I just want to double check a couple of things lah. So.
Not now. Lines on the floor. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Lines on the
And I'm gonna obviously play on the chorus because I want to check it out. Alright, okay, Wave C4 is just doing a tiny touch, right? Multi-opto mastering, just barely touching, so making sure that none of the frequency bands jump out too much. Okay, my iron here is on tape roll off. Okay, expected. This is what I did. Okay, one last thing I would add would be, this is something that I learned from a mastering engineer. Just drop in the API 560. Makes the sender a little bit more solid, right? For some weird reason, okay? Right? No EQ, nothing. It's just running through the circuitry of the API 560. Okay, last tip, and for those who watch me regularly already know what I'm going to do lah. Right, this is psychoacoustics. Right, how to make something sound more impactful and more exciting than it actually is. Just turn up the volume. So last thing we'll do, let's do a bit of volume automation on the stereo. Alright, bus. So every time I kick into the chorus, I'm going to bump up the stereo master fader 1 dB. Right, let me show you.
There are no happy endings, not here, not now. Lines on the floor.
There we go, okay? So just this. 2 bars, right? Ramping up 2 bars before that. I think it's a little bit more subtle. I could go for 1. Let's see, what if we do with just 1 bar. Okay. So I will go try this little trick. It's an old trick lah that's been around for so long already, okay?
There are no happy endings, not here, not now.
Ooh, okay, right. I think going 2 bars will be a little bit more subtle. This was quite the drastic actually, right? So, alright, so this goes out. So pump up 1 dB, and then when you get out of the chorus, 3, 4, and then right, drop out here. When you get back into the verse, back down to unity, right? Back down to unity gain. All right, so rinse and repeat, same thing. Okay, let's go to the next chorus. Let's start now.
Not here, not now.
So at bar 83.
Not here, not now. Lines on the floor.
So drop out, back to the bridge. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so same thing.
There are no happy endings. Not here, not now.
And let's do the same thing for this last chorus. Right.
Not here, not now.
Obviously, for the when you add the last chorus, right, you don't need to dip this down anymore. So let's just leave it up there. One little trick, right, just to make the choruses a little bit more impactful. Just bump it up by 1 dB, man. Yeah, okay, right, here we go. Da-da-da-da. Let's see. As we've said, we had a ringer for good vocals also. Ken from Mystical Mirage. Oh, Ken, right? Okay, right. You see, everything's a blur, especially when it's last year, man. 2020, what happened, you know? And here we are now in 2021. So, awesome. That's it. That's pretty much it, okay? This is the first draft of the mix for right, Lines of the Floor. This is going to be a brand new song from Airwaves on Fire. They've got another 2 more. We have including this, so that's 3 songs, and then the EP is done lah. Right, another song. Right, won't be showing all 3 songs and mixing lah. Okay, then there's another one. We still need to record a few more stuff. Okay, stay tuned. Right, follow the band. The details are all down below. And well, before we wrap it up, we'll just take a listen to this song one more time. The mix from top to bottom. Super awesome, man. Every one of you that has tuned in and watched this live stream, right? Chris, Jian, Airwaves and Fire, the band, right? Damien and the rest of you, Dhanyal, Matt, Jason, right? Stay safe, right? Hope you guys are all doing fine. Zachariah, Josh, Benson, not George Benson, Josh Chin and Benson. Locat, thank you so much, right, for tuning in. Fade Outs as well. Awesome, okay, right. Hope you guys all are gonna stay safe. I'll see you guys real soon. And let's take a listen, right, to the draft mix for Airwaves on Fire. They are brand new. Well, don't know whether this is gonna be a single or not, but this is gonna be one of the songs coming up from their upcoming album lah. So here we go.
Won't you run away with me? Where forever we can sleep. The stars are in her eyes, never asking why. This is her only lullaby. There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall. All this pouring rain can't wash her clean, can't save her. She can't stop. Lines on the floor. She's not gonna come home anymore. Love's got a gun to her head. Rust is all that she can taste.
Second verse.
She's screaming at the sky, never knowing why. This is her only lullaby. There are no happy endings, just nights that are never ending. There are no happy endings, not here, not now. The pain can't touch her when she breathes in.
I might automate this guitar so that it's a little bit more towards the middle.
Bite your lips pressed into me. Swear that you'll never walk away. Bite your lips pressed into me. Swear that you'll never
Go gradually so that it will spread out a little bit to the sides as well.
Swear that you'll never walk away. I swear
You got a little bit of high guitar that's going on there that I want to automate as well. And some of the ambient stuff, right? Just pump it up a little bit more, okay? Again, this is all broad strokes. A lot of the automation is not there yet.
there are no happy endings. Not here, not now. Lines on the floor. The pink can't touch her when she breathes in. Writings on the wall. And all this pouring rain can't wash her clean. Can't save her. She can't stop. She's not gonna come home. She's not gonna come home. Can't save her. She can't stop. She's not gonna come home. She's not gonna come
And that's the ending, man. Super, right? Liking what I hear for now. Alright, cool. So I'm gonna come back to this, right? Either maybe, first thing in the morning or something like that. Because it's now 12 o'clock already. Alright, so thank you again so much for watching. Hope you found this live stream useful and informative, right? Please do leave a like down, right? And share this with your friends, right? Anyone who you think might be interested in knowing about mixing and the stuff that goes on behind the scenes when we create songs. So once again, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel. That will be really, really useful. That will be super, super helpful as well. And once again, if you want to help to support the channel and also to support the featured artists, you can sign up to become a patron at the website above, www.patreon.com/studio2105. Okay, remember to use the code MixStream29, right? Drop me a message with the code MixStream29 so that I know that if you're signing up for a patron membership, you are going to be supporting the featured artists like Airwaves on Fire. Follow the band on their social media links, everything, all the links are all down in the description below. The plugins that I use, all the different stuff that I use as well. Check out the singles that Airwaves on Fire have put out. They have a Ride or Die. They also have a Make Me Feel, that features Hazel Leung. So they got 2 awesome music videos for these 2 singles as well. Go and check it out. It's on all digital media platforms. It's on YouTube, and support the local music, okay? Every one of you, stay safe, stay happy and healthy. Happy recording and mixing. Peace, love, and music, okay? Signing out. Good night, everyone.